Ever since Tears of the Kingdom released, people have been making weird, wacky, and insane creations. And so for today's challenge, I wanted to see what the best custom vehicles I could come up with were. So that's what I did, and I don't think you guys will be disappointed. Alright, let's jump right into it. This first one is a laser bike. It's insanely fun to drive and great at plowing down enemies. Not only does it look super cool, but it's actually pretty practical, other than the fact that it's a bit slow and you can only hit enemies on your right side. Next up, we got the Laser Spinner 360. The idea behind this one was to just have a large wheel right in the center that would stay in place but spin with beam emitters attached so that I could mow down anything in my path with rapid fire lasers. And I have to say, it works really well. The only big downside of this build is that because the lasers are always going, it does drain your battery pretty quickly. But if you're okay with that, it's definitely a good build for combat. This clip is not edited. I was just driving up this hill when all of a sudden this happened. That's right, this thing can actually get Koroks for you. When I was doing Loon's side quest, I knew I had to make a vehicle out of this bone before it was gone forever. So that's how I came up with the idea of the vertebrae plane. This is definitely the biggest flying machine I've ever made in Tears of the Kingdom. In fact, I actually maxed out the amount of items you can fuse together with this one. This just feels so right and so wrong at the same time. But either way, I was gonna fly this thing until it could fly no more. Even when it ran out of battery, I was surprised at how well it continued to fly with just the wings. But of course, there was a slight stability problem. Farewell, vertebrae plane. But that wasn't the only leviathan bone just begging to become a vehicle. This leviathan head made a great dune buggy. I added frost and beam emitters to the top, plus a shock emitter and a hydrant to conduct electricity on the bottom. This is one build where I was glad I didn't add a stabilizer, because it made for some awesome wheelies. And then I decided, hey, I'm in the neighborhood, why don't I stop by Gerudo Town? I love that you can just bring massive vehicles into villages now, and nothing even tries to stop you. And then I decided to mount the giant leviathan head above Gerudo Town as a trophy, which gave me some interesting ideas. Sorry about that. Why did I do this? Because why not? Next, I decided to flip the skull over and make the Dune Buggy 2.0. This one definitely looked like something that would shoot fire, so I made it shoot lots and lots of fire. And for some reason, the camera didn't like it very much, so I drove around this thing in first person, basically. I've never seen Mad Max, but this looks like something that would be in that movie. A quick reminder to hit the like button. It lets me know that you guys are enjoying this content, and helps the algorithm to show my video to more people. So if you could take a second to do that real quick, it would help me out a lot. Thanks. Next, I decided to shake things up and made an armored truck. I have to tell you guys, this is actually one of my favorite ones I made in the entire video. Not only does it look super cool, but it's actually by far the most practical of any of the builds that I had made so far. It's super fast, super easy to control, has great attack power, and probably the best feature of all compared to my other builds is that Link is completely protected in the interior of the vehicle. Not only does this mean that I can't get shot by pesky archers, but also I'm protected from my own mass destruction. The lasers will never hit Link by accident, and driving through explosions is no problem. If there's any vehicle in this video I would recommend trying to build yourself, it's this one, because it works great for any situation. It was working so well, in fact, that I thought I would try my luck at fighting a GLEEOK with it. I might have been just a tad bit overconfident with this one. Next, I wanted to build a pirate ship, which I was able to succeed at visually, except for the front, because it was very difficult to get wood to come to a point and still be attached firmly to the rest of the vehicle. But even though it looked super cool, it could barely float, and just really was not very practical for getting around on the water. But hey, at least the cannons made it feel authentic. Have you ever just wanted to see Hyrule burn? Well, I guess that was my inspiration for creating this one-wheel vehicle. And last but not least is the Mega Ball. I've already seen a few people online make similar designs, but I actually had the idea for this before I even saw those. It's such a cool design because instead of the wheel turning, you just have the gigantic ball roll you around wherever you want to go. This was one of my earliest iterations, but I actually made lots and lots of iterations on the Mega Ball. It's super fun to drive, and you can totally plow down any enemies or even small obstacles that get in your path. The main downside about it is it takes very slow and very wide turns, which means it's not the easiest thing to control. I added some Zonai weapons to it, but let's just say that this version of the design didn't last too long. My next iteration used a giant wooden board on the top, which made the entire thing more balanced and stable. But what I quickly learned was that I should not have been testing this out next to a gigantic chasm. Well, thank goodness for autobuild. Next, I added weapons to it, but there was an obvious flaw in this design. After that, I decided it might be better to just make it without a roof entirely. This looked pretty dang cool, but it was a little bit weird controlling it from the left side. Not only that, but getting on the thing in the first place was a huge pain in the butt. Let me introduce you to the final design, the Mega Electro Ball. I finally was able to find the shrine that had the much larger metal ball, and by pointing a shock emitter towards it on the right side, I was able to make the entire thing conduct electricity. Not only that, but now the weapons actually were safe to use, and a lower control platform meant it was much easier to mount the vehicle. I absolutely love this thing, other than the fact that it's still really dang hard to control. Oops. Did you enjoy this video? Then I bet you'll absolutely love my last video. I built a robot in Tears of the Kingdom to fight enemies for me. To check it out, just click the video on the screen or the link in the description below. Thank you guys.